Order at 6:02. All right, we have no citizens present, so no citizens' comments. So we will move on to the first agenda item, consider approval of minutes for January 16th, 2024, and take appropriate action. These are emailed to you twice now.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes that presented.
Okay.
Changes.
So Lee motions.
I second.
Stacy seconds. All in favor? Aye. Right, unanimous. Approval. So Lee, you're up. Trustee report.
Right, I know we've been talking about bookmobiles and
Mhm.
dreams, but I just thought I'd point out that Great Mountain has one now. It's called Grow, and it has like a range of for every age, and it's a boomerang they call it, which is kind of, get one, bring it back,
Mhm.
back and forth that way. Not as formal a checkout process, I think. And it's in an RV. type. And so while I was looking at that, I looked at ALA guidelines for bookmobiles, and that was kind of interesting because it looked at it globally,
Mhm.
kind of worldwide. And it talked about in remote area, particularly targeting remote areas. They would bring books on trains, donkeys,
Mhm.
carts, camels, helicopters. They go in and helicopter into some real high areas and do books. So it was just a real interesting article about outreach and how all kinds of communities were trying to still be served by the nearest library. So I think that's just the goal to keep in our mind, to make sure that we have some outreach as our community kind of spreads out. And then there was just an interesting thing. I had never looked at Texas Center for the Book, but they have archives in a lot of different universities around that have a lot of historical, uniquely Texas authors, books about Texas, kind of a state thing. And it highlights a different one. I think this website highlights different ones as you go through. And I know we have sections for local artists.
Mhm.
This was a unique library. So that's what I could find. Oh, on the back, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, the banned books. I thought this was interesting, kind of a report on how that's progressing through time. Because there was such a flare of the challenges to books prior to 2020. And the ALA said that while it appears that the challenges have gone down, that data should probably be mitigated with preventative steps that librarians are taking to, like you made the point, Heather, we have separated some of the controversial things for little children into our young adult and labeled them appropriately. And some libraries are preemptively not putting controversial books in displays and things to draw attention to them, but they still protect their existence and their availability for people that want to read them. And there was a little concern on their part that they aren't even buying books that might be controversial. And so there's different ways to censor things. Although overall, what I read in the ALA section on this, they're pretty much promoting not restricting
Right.
appropriate they're not for banning books, for sure. But I thought that was kind of interesting that the number of challenges has gone down. I think it probably has. You don't hear it as much. But they're also being what they call soft censorship.
Mhm.
And Lee, how did because you were doing that series last year of the band book.
Oh, yeah, you're reading.
How was
Oh,
it
yeah,
interesting?
yeah.
How
I didn't get all of them read, but
I was just curious your opinion.
well, I think I understand why they were banned. I don't always agree with why they were banned. And I think, Heather and I have talked about that a little bit, just off the cuff, that proper display and labeling and not putting things that would be inappropriate for a certain age group is real important, and how you approach all of that and how you avoid all of that. But at some point, kids have got to read
Mhm.
about the world
Mhm.
and the people that live in it. They're going to go off to college and run into all kinds of people, and they need to know that
Mhm.
stuff. And also the importance of parents being involved with what their kids are doing and what they're
Mhm.
selecting. But the books were arranged. A couple of them I would have probably not wanted in a school library, but I think it was fine for a public library.
I was just curious your opinion because I was really impressed with that, the mindset behind that. It was kind of a good idea.
Yeah, it was. It illuminated maybe why there's some reaction to some books, but how important it is for some books to be out there for people to be able to read. I didn't make it all 52 weeks.
Was it
It was a
52
year.
books?
Yeah, you were supposed to read
One book a
a
week?
week. Yeah.
Oh, good gracious.
I'm
I
a
would
pretty
not
good
have been
reader, but
successful. I'm like, I
Some
think
of
I
them are
read
hefty.
3 books a year just because I read in 5-minute chunks
Mhm.
when I have to read so many things at the same time. All right.
I still think it's something we ought to watch.
Okay. We are moving on to patron feedback, which we have quite a bit of.
Mhm.
So let's take the first page that says 10 on the bottom and look at it first, and then you have any thoughts or comments. Go ahead and speak them.
The coffee shop thing comes up occasionally.
It does. It comes up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of it, but it's when you get to the execution,
Well,
it's one, there's not
maintaining and
space,
different
right? You'd have to make space for it. And that is something that would have needed to be thought of.
When you have to have a
When you did
license to serve.
Yes, you have to have and then you have to have a food handler's license. There's just a lot of
And it was
logistical
one of
things.
the original, it was between the two different bond issues.
Yes,
It
it
was
was.
included on that. One of the plans had it in there.
Yes. When they were going to demolish and rebuild, that plan, the rebuilding plan
But then
had,
at one time, they also had it when they were gonna do like a separate entrance.
yes.
And it, like the coffee shop would be on the outside, but you could still come in and go even if the library was closed.
Mhm.
So that was on the plans, but it did not make through.
No.
Yep. So.
But they do have one at the dog park.
Yes, there's a whole concession stand at the dog park. Is this the one about the longer hours, the complaint about the hours of operation? Is that the first time that, I think this is the first time we've seen that?
It's the first time I've seen it in writing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in writing is what I was gonna say. Do you know, your response said that Robert would reach out to them about the library hours. Do you know what his response to them was?
I know that he did reach out, and I know he let them know that there was I don't want to call it a survey, but there was study of the hours done to see when it would be most productive to reduce hours, which would cause the least amount of impact. And also he provided a comparison to one of the Carrollton libraries to show that our hours are actually more than one of the Carrollton libraries.
Okay. I think just when people are used to something and then it changes, they just kind of can have a little bit of a reaction. And then free goal, which you and I have talked about that some, that it was very expensive for the number of users that we had. And that is why it went away.
Yes, Freegal was a very expensive service for a very small return.
There aren't alternatives.
There are on Hoopla, which is one of the digital things. Hello, that.
Hey.
That's totally fine. Considering text, it was like,
Oh.
I haven't seen y'all since November.
Remember, I know, it's been some time. We are going through
Maybe.
we're going through patron feedback. We're at kind of at the last one on page 10 about the free Google Music service. But Hoopla, to answer your question, they have movies, they have TV shows, they have music, they have books, like ebooks and audiobooks. It's quite the comprehensive service. And it's, you get things, what I like about Hoopla is there's no hold list. Like everything's available to you and you get it for 21 days, but I think you're limited to the number of things you can check out per month. So
There is a 8-item per month limit. But
and it doesn't matter if you return things.
no, it does not.
It does not change your thing.
It does not
You're
change
limited.
anyone else's ability to check anything out.
So, but that's what we use for audiobooks at our house because it has a wider selection of audiobooks than Libby does. And because we listen to them in like 10 to 15-minute chunks a couple times a week.
And there was.
We don't have to give it back before we finish the book.
Audiobooks, not ebooks.
It does both.
Hmm?
It does both.
Because there was another comment here about wanting more ebooks.
My guess is that's on Libby. Well, I will say Hoopla and Libby both have lots of ebooks. What I tend to find is if I'm on Hoopla, I can only find the audio version of the book I'm looking for and not the ebook version. And then with Libby, it's a long wait. Like there's a book I think I'm on, like it's gonna be months before it's my turn.
It's the Garland and the Houston.
Yes.
You can get for free if you're a Texas resident.
Yes.
They also use Libby, and so you can program multiple
Libraries
into the Libby. Also, if you are a teacher for Dallas County, you can get a library card through them as well.
Yes.
And they also use Libby.
Mhm.
So I have 4 library cards through on Libby.
I will say I do also have a Houston card. Houston is state funded, therefore if you live in the state, you
You can get a
you
Houston
get
library card.
They do validate that with your driver's license though. But I will tell you for Farmers Branch offerings, we are working on our state report and I can tell you that the number of ebooks, not audiobooks and everything, are 54,000.
Oh, wow.
So we have a comprehensive selection. We may have to wait on the newest ones because
Yeah. Everyone
Demand.
wants to read it. Right.
of demand and licensing procedures, but we do have a comprehensive ebook selection. And that actually does not include all of the ebooks available for Hoopla, only the ones that we have checked out. That's how they count the ones we have available.
Oh, interesting.
So we actually do have a bigger catalog than that.
Right. Go to page 11 and let people have more comments on. And
I didn't get to Santa this year.
yeah, I did not either because we had a scheduling conflict for our family. So I'm not entirely sure when you sent everything, the packet out and I read this one, I was not entirely sure what they meant by people selling things.
So as you were probably aware, the city had to cancel their event due to the weather. There was a big
City.
storm, so
Yeah.
the city canceled. So the decision was made by the city to bring their market.
The
They had
market.
3 vendors come and set up in the innovation zone.
Okay,
That was a decision that the Parks and Recreation Department made.
okay,
We accommodated and brought it in. Robert has agreed that going forward, that's not how the library or the Parks Department would like to move forward with these vendors.
But it
Because of
wasn't that obtrusive either. I mean, you didn't feel like you were being harassed to buy anything.
I didn't feel the vendors came up
No,
to, they stayed at their
yeah,
stations and let.
so,
people
I mean, you know, if you just ignored them,
Again, change, anything that's a
Okay.
change. is-
yeah,
Those people.
and I think it was kind of, in some aspect, it was kind of nice because they lost their chance to do anything when they
Right.
canceled,
yeah.
you know.
Well, which I think it's interesting that they were like at free events, especially those designed for children. Well, these people were going to be at a free
Event.
event geared towards
Children, the tree lighting is,
families,
yeah.
the tree lighting.
Mhm.
So maybe that's just not an event this family would have gone to.
And this was anonymous in the way.
It was.
responding.
Yes.
Any other thoughts? No? All right, then
Let's keep it up.
it's Heather's turn.
All right, so you guys have your statistics at the beginning. For January, I did not include February because of how fast this meeting is. We did not have our stat in yet, but it had to be updated.
Mhm.
But, I'm not sure if any of you got to attend, but we did host a Lunar New Year celebration this year in January. That was very well attended and have a nice little picture there.
Mhm.
And our second annual Tiny Art Show was also in January. That was also very well attended and the participation was great in that. For March, we have our annual bookmark contest, be the 5th year, I believe.
Mhm.
But we are also starting, Taylor with our, team. Our team librarian is going to do a manga March Madness. So that will be all month long, so people can vote on their favorite manga until there is a winner. We have spring break coming up. And I've kind of listed some of the programs. We are actually introducing teen programs during spring break this year. That is not something we've previously done.
My kids are super excited about the Mario Kart tournament.
Awesome. We're trying something new with that, so
Mhm.
we purchased the equipment for that.
What is the bad art? What does that mean?
That means you don't have to be good at art to do art.
Mhm.
I mean, that's true,
Yes.
but that's so nice that that's a thing,
Come with
especially
the
for teens.
expectation that
Yeah,
you're not going to be
Be
great,
good.
but you're going to be.
but you're gonna have fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
But not evil.
I would
No,
qualify.
not even.
I would qualify for
Mhm. Same,
Artists.
same.
Um, So we have also recently hired a lovely young lady named Sarah Sanchez to be a bilingual children's library assistant.
Oh, that's so great. That was one of the things we
Yeah.
talked about.
Yes, and one of her primary focuses will be doing bilingual story times.
Nice. I'm assuming that her second language, the 2 languages are English and Spanish.
Yes.
Next, could have been something else exciting.
And she'll have her first story time during spring break.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes. A couple of other updates. We have all new chairs in the hub. The wooden chairs are out. They have been taken away and replaced with all new chairs. Which I think staff feels is a great improvement. They are safe, way less.
Mhm.
We actually have doubled the amount of chairs. We have lost so many over the years that we were very lacking in the
Mm,
number of chairs. So that has been
Good.
updated. The board had previously mentioned doing some events with the art in the building, so we do have a scavenger hunt.
Okay.
Great. Excuse me.
Heather and I are.
There's some cedar.
Some of them. So those are our main events.
Anybody have questions for Heather?
So Heather,
Yeah.
the bookmark entry form.
Yes.
Our teacher was gonna do it with her kids and our librarian would do it with some of the kids.
Oh,
I could just take one and they can run, we can.
I have one more thing on the tissue drive that the team leaders
We're doing, yeah.
are doing. We have a bucket full, I want to say bucket, it's not a drop box full of tissue.
Nice.
So we need to determine where they need to go and how they will get there. Kind of what, since the teens are not able to go during school hours,
Yeah.
I'd like to have a card, to say we are presenting this to you and maybe have you guys present them to the schools if that would work for you.
Should be able to do that.
Is, I know we had said Farmers Branch schools.
It's at Farmers Branch Elementary Schools.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
So which ones that would be Star,
Farmers Branch,
Branch and
Blair.
Yeah.
Cause McStrick is Carrollton.
Do we have enough boxes of tissue to
do we
make
have
some kind of impact locally?
I'm sure it'll make an
And I can
impact.
always run by Sam's Club and get one of their,
The little multi-packs, yeah.
There are quite a bit of tissues.
Hmm.
There are quite a bit of tissues. I
Okay.
don't know how many boxes, but well over 20, well over.
But I think it did well and the teams were very happy.
Okay, good. And I did see that there was there were some DVDs out by the tissue drop box that were tearjerker, like sad movies, which was really cute. So that was a nice touch. It was like,
Had to help. It's something.
all right. And now we are at future items. And I'm just gonna slide back to the only thing I have from last time that hasn't really been addressed is the Wi-Fi hotspot checkouts and, yeah. But. Okay. Scavenger hunt, Wi-Fi, yeah. Bookmobile, doing a survey, yeah. So on the topic of the bookmobile, because that came up again, the city sent out direction to board chairs about choices we can make as advisory boards about what to do. And I'm meeting with Robert in a couple weeks about that. And so we can kind of put that on our next agenda also of just revisiting the book, the ideas we had come up with when we had previously kind of looked at the city's 2040, 2045, whatever their long-term vision plan is. And we had looked at that and kind of said, what is it that we can do? And we'd come up with the bookmobile, a storefront on the west side, the Wi-Fi hotspots, like that you can check out and things like that. So after I meet with him, we should be able to address some of that, see what he's thinking.
One thing
about
I
that.
could do is contact Grapevine and see how they funded theirs. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe somebody's old RV, I don't know how they got the
I
RV.
bet, well,
The
if they're
vehicles
saying if
kind of-
it's like an RV, I wonder if it's like one of those Sprinter vans.
Yeah, it could be. Mhm.
Um,
I'll inquire a little bit more.
Yeah.
See more about how.
I would say I'm sure there's some grants, but
Well,
I don't
they
know
may disappear.
anymore. Yeah. In the past, we could have gotten a grant. I don't know what the grant status looks like for things like that these days.
one thing you might try to deal with Robert is if city council really wants these things to kind of originate from citizens, how do we get the word out of things that citizens might be interested in?
Well, that was one of the things that I had that were, we talked about was a survey.
Mhm.
And then when we had started down this path before, LSNS had offered, they have a service that they can provide that Sue was like working on doing a community assessment. So kind of like going a little bit deeper than a general census and I think doing that would help us figure out what is the best.
What would be utilized?
I think so. But it is not included in their contract. So it would be an extra service that the city would have to pay for.
Maybe there's something we could do on election days. And you have citizens coming to the building.
I mean, the other thing, like, we've done things at our school where we just put out sticky notes and a big poster board, like a big, like, chalkboard, whiteboard, and just what do you want? And people write things on the sticky notes and stick it, and then that's kind of like an informal, I mean, it's a little bit of a biased survey because you're not seeking people out really, but I don't know. Like I think a survey would be helpful. I don't know what the right way to go about doing that is. If it's the LSNS community, like.
The only thing I see wrong with something like an in-house survey,
It's
those are
only people who are already coming here.
Right.
and you're trying to reach people who are not able.
Well, and the
to hear.
city has used that Polco. Has anybody else gotten those emails of like, you can fill out a survey about stuff? So I don't know if we could use that service to reach out to people to see what is it that they want or need, or if we can target specifically people who are living on the west side who are newer to Farmers Branch and it's a newer development, and like city might behoove the city to just kind of figure out what do the people over there want and need. And just send a general survey for the people on the west side. What city services do you wish were over here? But what things do you need? And then we kind of have some direction from citizens too. But I agree, Paul. It doesn't matter if we think it's a good idea if it's not what people actually want and need.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So. But I think a lot of these events that you guys have planned, especially the way reaching out to the teens has always been something that's lacking. And these things y'all are adding are great.
And the quick response from it lets you know they really wanted it.
Yeah, the way they've really jumped in. Yeah, agree. Yeah. All right. So. Any other thoughts?
Any other future agenda?
Any other
items?
future, agenda items for future meetings? That's where we're at.
What other things are coming up in the late spring that are already,
Late spring,
that are already scheduled that we might
April and May.
think about?
Let's see, so
We can get in the way.
first week of April is TLA. No board members signed up to attend. You, with it being in Dallas. So we will be very light programming at the beginning of April. And the end of April will be very light because we have voting in May.
Oh, yeah.
The end of May brings about,
Beginning of
summer
summer reading, yeah.
reading. So we have started heavily planning our summer reading.
Have you picked a theme or that's still in
What are
process? Oh, like the bookmarks.
That is what it's based on.
Okay.
We are getting our wonderful Wednesday performers up and scheduled.
So Ryan, will you be the pinch hitter till we?
I imagine so,
Nice.
yeah. I don't know how quickly we'll bring somebody
Yeah.
on board, but I'm here to fill their shoes until.
Maybe
then.
this is just a sign that you should take the job.
Well, I interpret it like that.
I mean, it keeps coming to you in temporary spurts.
We can
So is it
at least
lightly knocking or is it kicking the door down? Yeah.
understand why Heather's leaving, but I hate to lose her. because
I know.
think She's been very
I know,
innovative.
you've been great.
On
Thank you.
some technology things and.
Yeah.
I have loved my time here and the people here, but
I absolutely understand.
Yeah, no, it makes so much sense.
we do need to schedule
The next meeting.
our next meetings. I believe we have April marked.
um, So. The next one should be April 10th.
We leave on
It's
the
a Tuesday again.
It's, yeah, the second Thursday.
Second who?
Second Thursday.
Second Thursday.
Yeah, it's, except for this one, which we did say in our
You
meeting.
did in the January meeting.
Move. Yeah.
And Heather emailed you
Yes,
this week.
yes.
Okay,
No, I
so
have
the,
myself to blame.
Not that we're rubbing it in.
no, we would never. So April 10th, and then that would make May 8th. Are those all good for everybody?
On May 8th, but I'm assuming we'll have somebody else in place by then. That shouldn't make sense, I guess. I don't know.
We can always reassess and just set those two for now, and if we need to make a change, come April. We can make a change.
That sounds good.
I'll be wrapping up my school year by then. So exciting.
You'll be doing pre-registration with them.
My last day of school is May 12th. My calendar. Well, we're moving back to school August 12th.
No bad weather makeup days or.
Nope, it's private school. Those things don't exist.
Do anymore either because of the bank minutes.
But yes, that's what public school has started doing. Is they just extended their days by like, it's just 5 minutes, right?
Yeah,
5 minutes, just going to school 5 minutes more every day means they don't have to make up bad weather days.
Worth it.
Yeah.
because they can bank them.
Yeah.
So with that.
They got
Like,
time.
we have like, if we have several weeks, it's gonna be, but still. Because the state now calls it by minutes instead of by days,
Days.
X number of minutes.
So, oh, we gotta
We
adjourn.
got it, adjourned.
I know. Paul's looking at me, packing up my things, and he's like, no, we gotta adjourn. You're right. So yes, if that's, so April 10th, May 8th,
Stay tuned.
stay tuned.
You will entertain,
What?
you will entertain a motion.
Yes,
I
I
move
will.
that we
entertain a
adjourn.
motion, yes. Okay,
Second.
second. So Stacy motions. All seconds. All in favor?
Hey,
Aye. Unanimous.
Got 6:33.
Alrighty. Adjourn, 6:33. That was quick.
Bam will be happy.
Yep.